Raising children the right way. How to discipline without crossing the line into abuse. As parents, we all want our children to grow up well-behaved, knowing right from wrong, and living meaningful lives. But sometimes, in the process of teaching them, we ask ourselves, am I doing the right thing? Is this kind of discipline too harsh? Today, let's explore the difference between discipline and abuse, so we can be sure that what we're doing is helping our children grow, not hurting them. What is discipline, really? It's a life lesson, not a punishment. Have you ever stopped to think about what discipline truly means? Many people think it's all about punishing kids when they misbehave, but that's a misunderstanding. Discipline is actually about teaching. It's how we help children understand what's right and wrong, and how to behave at home and in the outside world. Think of yourself as a guide or a teacher, showing your child the right path, not someone who just hands out punishments when they stray. For example, if your child spills milk, instead of yelling, you can show them how to clean it up and remind them to be more careful next time. That's discipline, a way for children to learn and grow. When things go too far, recognizing abuse. Sometimes, what starts as discipline can go too far and turn into abuse. But what is abuse, exactly? Abuse is any action that harms, or could harm, a child physically or emotionally. To avoid crossing this line, parents need to understand the different forms abuse can take. The first is physical abuse, hitting with hands or objects, burning, or anything that causes pain or injury. Next is emotional abuse, using hurtful words like, "You're useless," or constant threats that make a child fearful. Sexual abuse happens when a child is forced into inappropriate behavior they don't understand or can't consent to. There's also neglect, which means failing to meet a child's basic needs, like food, clothing, education, or healthcare. Abandonment is when a parent cuts off contact completely and leaves the child alone. And finally, substance abuse. Using drugs or alcohol in front of or while caring for a child is also a form of abuse. These may sound heavy, but knowing about them helps us stay away from dangerous territory. Positive discipline. How to teach without yelling or hitting. Now, let's look at some positive, effective ways to discipline children, ways that teach without using threats or physical punishment. There are so many great strategies to try. First up, natural consequences. This means letting your child experience the results of their own actions. Didn't study? They get a bad grade. Refuse to share toys? Friends might not want to play. Of course, only use this method when the consequence is safe. Don't let your child touch a hot stove just to learn a lesson. Next, logical consequences. These are consequences that relate directly to the misbehavior. Draw on the wall? Take the crayons away. Watch a show they weren't allowed to? Tablet time is off for the day. What matters is that the consequence makes sense, so your child understands why it's happening. Praise is also incredibly powerful. If your child shares their toys, say something like, "I love how kind you were to your friend. That was awesome." This encourages them to keep doing good things. Another approach? Problem solving together. Ask your child why they acted a certain way. Share your thoughts, and come up with a solution together. If they keep getting angry, ask what's bothering them, and brainstorm ways to stay calm. This not only solves the issue but also teaches communication skills. And don't forget about timeouts. If your child misbehaves, you can give them a moment alone to calm down, typically 1 minute per year of age. Explain what they did wrong and let them think it over. For older kids, you can let them decide when they're ready to come back and talk. Keeping it in balance. Don't let discipline turn into harm. Let's be honest, parenting is tough. There are days you're exhausted. Your child isn't listening, and you just want to scream. But those are the moments when we need to be extra careful, so our discipline doesn't turn into something harmful. If you catch yourself yelling or hitting because your child upset you, that's a warning sign. Take a deep breath. Step out of the room if you have to. Don't let your emotions take over. Also, focus on what your child did, not who they are. Saying, "What you did was wrong," is very different from, "You're a bad kid." Words are powerful. We don't want to damage our child's self-esteem. Discipline should never turn into neglect. Either. Giving a child space to calm down is fine. Locking them in a room or withholding food is not okay. And most importantly, if you feel like you're losing control, don't be afraid to ask for help. Friends, family, or professionals can support you and help you find better ways to parent. Discipline is about guiding your child, not making them afraid or hurting them. When we remember that, everything becomes so much more manageable and loving.